On this episode, we have Andrea Tuell, who is actually the Agent of the Year nomination finalist from the NOCO market, Northern Colorado. Funny enough, she has ties, went to college with Molly Bloom's brother, who is also a speaker at RP Elevate. Both of them will be on stage. We talk about her struggle with IVF, the foundation she created from it, and how she still increased her business every single year while trying to start her family by hiring a business coach. And she made that decision before she had the money to do it. And I think that's a really important lesson that we dig into on the show. Enjoy. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rivington Ramsey. We are growing. And it's thanks to you for sharing this show with others. Today, we have Andrea Tuell from the NOCO market. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's Northern Colorado, our first agent from NOCO. Thanks for joining the show, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Remington. I appreciate it.
We're going to talk about coaching. We're going to talk about personal challenges that pour into real estate. But where I would like to start is what you love about your community. It's it's about an hour north of Denver. You were telling me in the pre-show why people love living there and prices are going up. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's amazing here. It's a very laid back community. Everyone is really kind. We are all about outdoor activities, sports. Everybody has a dog. We have tons of breweries. And then on top of that, we have incredible businesses and resources. So we are a big ag community. It's Colorado State University. We have a lot of technology and we have incredible healthcare systems. So we also just recently got voted like the most peaceful place to live in the US for small, big town or small, medium town.
Small, medium town, most peaceful. That's pretty impressive with a college town. Like, it doesn't seem very peaceful in most of college towns that I'm aware of. How does that coexist with a big university? How many students go to Colorado State?
Oh, that's a great question. I should know that, but I don't know that.
I can find out.
And I am a CSU alum, but I don't know that one. I will. It's everyone's just great. I mean, there's places that we can all coexist and we have a great time.
40,000 is a quick Google search tells me it's 40,000 or 66,000. It's increasing with the total people that drive into it. So I'm from a college town, but a little bit smaller school, Ball State. And I can see how they can coexist. You know, it's loud on campus and peaceful everywhere else. Yeah. So you mentioned agriculture. What's the big scene in agriculture in Northern Colorado? Yeah,
it's dairy, cattle. So we have a really good vet school as well. At CSU, it's ranked in the top 5 vet schools in the country. And then agriculture wise, we have a huge construction and agriculture department at CSU that is really big and pretty hard to get into. So they do an incredible job.
You know, I always think it's interesting having agents on the show and the amount of information you have to retain about just what's going on in the city that you sell in, or the state rather, just keeping up with the laws, keeping up with how people think. And how often are you dealing with people who are moving to the state for the first time?
A lot, actually. We have a lot of people that relocate here all the time. So we do, like, New Belgium started in Fort Collins. So we always have a lot of people coming in and out for different jobs like that, just the breweries or technology, a lot of healthcare systems, nurses, and just it's a very community driven. It's very, there's so many incredible nonprofits here, and everybody is constantly pouring back into the community, which is something I'm really proud of around here.
We talked in the pre-show about your decision to hire a coach. And we've talked about this before on the RP podcast. We believe in coaching. We believe in mentorships. 7 years ago, you decided to take the plunge and hire a coach. And what I found is a lot of people who are new to the coaching scene kind of delay it, just like an assistant. Like, you probably don't hire an assistant as soon as you should because you don't feel like you can afford one, or, you're not hitting your real estate numbers. And so you delay getting a coach, even though you know that making that decision will actually help you hit your numbers. And it's the same thing with marketing, which is what, field I'm in. It's like, you wait to have enough money to do marketing, but which came first, the chicken or the egg? you said, I'm going to hire a coach. And since then, you have increased every single year for the last 7 years. Tell me about the decision to get into coaching.
Sure. So, I mean, really just exactly that. I had been in the business for 15 years at that point, about that. Well, yes. And because I'm in my 21st year. So I'd been in the business for 15 years and I just kept hitting the same numbers for about 4 to 5 years. And I know that I have a ton of connections, but it just wasn't clicking. So I always want to do more for my clients and for my business. And I like to constantly grow. So I hired a business coach, Garrett Fry. He's with Life at 10 Tenths. He's amazing. And since then, every single year, my business has increased. And the first year it went up by 100 GCI, the next year, another 100 GCI. And since then I've been consistent. I have never gone down. It's only increased. Even if one year it was only by like 10 or 15,000, but I'll take it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I would say. So what's interesting is you were already 15 years in the industry and trying to figure out how to increase sales, but probably not trying to increase the amount of time you spend on real estate. You're a single agent. You've got one licensed assistant.
Yes.
How do you determine whether or not it's worth growing versus hanging out with, the consistent numbers year in and year out? Because for most real estate agents across the board, I would say we tend to believe that if we're going to do more numbers, we have to work harder or hire more people. But you've managed to do more business and do it with one assistant. How does that work?
Yeah, part of it, a lot of it actually was my mindset. So, and then also I've been in this business for a bit. So my clients are like now move up clients versus first time home buyers, which is great, but I still love to work with first time or luxury homes. It doesn't matter to me. But so I think part of it was that our values in Northern Colorado have increased over time. So part of it was that. But my side transaction has also increased every single year. And I think it's just, you constantly learn your capacity. You learn how to create better systems. You learn how to do better for people. And I mean, we are a very fine-tuned machine. Amber is, I call her, she's magic. She's behind the scenes. I could never do what I do without her. And she knows that. She's amazing. So if it wasn't for her, I don't know that I could do all of these numbers, but I would certainly keep trying.
So part of your journey is through increasing year in and year out. You also decided that you wanted to start a family. And you guys struggled to do so, which led to a journey with IVF and ultimately you starting a foundation because of your journey. Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I went through an IVF journey for a little over 5.5 years. I did 4 rounds of IVF. We have 2 little miracles. The first time it worked great. I also had 3 miscarriages. And during that process, it was really important to me and my incredible husband that we remembered them and did it in a way to help other babies. So from every closing that I have, I donate to, my foundation's called Raising Angels. And from Raising Angels, we help single parents with kids that under the age of 4 with anything they need for their baby. A lot of nonprofits are incredible, but they have certain check boxes that you have to fit in. All that anyone has to do is submit their request to us. And as long as the parent is under the age of 24 and the child is under the age of 4, we will do everything to make it happen.
No, why are those the qualifications specifically?
Sure. My sister-in-law is in charge of the teen pregnancy program for the school district up here. And she ran into so many roadblocks and I have watched her try to solve it over the years. And so I felt like this is a beautiful way to remember our babies as well as help kids in our community.
Yeah. Well, Raising Angels is what it's called. And when did that start and how's it doing now?
It's great. I mean, it started in 2019. So right during COVID. So we were never able to have like a launch party or do anything like that. But I am very blessed to have an incredible circle of friends and a village that support both my sister-in-law and myself. And so people continue to help us out and donate. We do a lot of cool things. We do Christmas gifts for all of the kids. We do new baby packages that get delivered to these sweet mamas at the hospital they're a kid. They don't know what they're doing yet.
Yeah. So tell me, it's been a reoccurring thing on the show with, for really the last year, talking about how to show up amidst trauma and even tragedy. When I have 4 kids, and I know a lot of friends who have struggled with miscarriages. It's a very real trauma that happens. And yet when you're in real estate, whether you're a vendor or a realtor or listening to this, like, it's not like a 9 to 5 where you can clock in and work at a computer and check boxes. Like, you need to show up. Mm-hmm. How do you talked about mindset with your coach. You had a coach throughout this whole process. How much did you dig into your personal life and the mindset that you need to show up, even though personally you're struggling?
Sure. I mean, he knew everything. He obviously, you have to be incredibly vulnerable if you want to grow. And if you want to be better and show up for people. So a lot of what I did and continued to do, especially through COVID, and I still do it to this day, I'll just, if I need to get a reset, I walk outside and I'll just look through my phone and send a few of my clients videos. Like, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. I hope you're having an amazing day. And it would reset me. So yes, you are dealing with a ton of trauma, but thankfully I've had incredible parents that my glass is always overflowing, not just half full. I believe in unicorns and glitter and rainbows. And so I am always a very smiley, happy human. So yes, you feel those things and you feel those things deep. But for me, the best way for me to heal was to create something that I believe is very beautiful out of it.
Yeah, your first initial response was focusing on others. I've said that a lot on the show, where if you're having a bad day, now you were having actual bad days, but for most of us, when we say we're having a bad day, if you look at what's causing that bad day, especially in the workplace, it's emails not getting sent out on time, systems collapsing, a client that's mad at you or losing a deal. And in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal compared to the actual things. Now, and I've always said, the best way to get out of that funk is to write handwritten notes and send texts and love on other people. But by the 5th person that you call or text, you're now focusing on everybody else, and you're not in your own head thinking about how things are going. And all of a sudden it turns out to be a pretty good day. So you confirm that by saying you're focusing on other people, texting them, loving on them. Now, on top of that, I'll give you a good example of how this applies to bigger things. So this past weekend, I was at a men's retreat and just got done doing 75 hard. And so I'm in great shape and I'm pushing the limits. And during football, I pull my hamstring. And I'm feeling pretty crappy about it. And I'm feeling bad for myself. And we're driving in. And as we're driving in, I see a neighbor who's sitting out on her porch. She's in her 90s. And I know her story. She walks everywhere and is super active, a very young 90-year-old. And this year, she has fallen 3 times, which is not characteristic, and it's totally messing with her mentality, and the whole neighborhood knows her and is beat up by this. And I was thinking, I was driving past with my leg propped up and feeling sorry for myself. It hit me in that moment. I'm going to be fine in 5 to 6 weeks. And she's not. Her life is altered. Now, at that same token, she could think about 100 other people that she's had it better than. And I think that for me, that was pretty sobering and healing in that moment to realize there are people who are really struggling way worse than me. And it does not serve me at all to dwell on the negative times. And you saying you believe in glitter and smiles and the unicorns, you're a pretty positive person. How do you continue to show up amidst all the things that suck about real estate?
Mm-hmm. So another thing that just fuels me and makes me feel good is, one, handwritten notes, but I kind of take it a little bit further, and I do like 5 gifts a week, and they're super random, and they're just to people who have been like on my mind or heavy on my heart for no other reason. And so my magic behind the scenes, I'll do some notes, and then she'll run around and she delivers like a candle or like a motivational book with some cool pins that are like girl boss or you got this. And so there's so many times where I do think like we see people around us that just need to know that they're loved and supported. And so I try to do that before people know that they even need to be loved and supported.
I love that. I love gifting books. I think books are really cool. We talk about reading a lot on the show. And when you actually gift a book, the person who receives it, and actually if they read it, they actually attribute the knowledge that they get from it to the person who gave it to them, even more so than the author. What kind of books do you find yourself? Do you try to tailor it to the person and what they're going through, or do you have like favorite books that you've read that you like to give to everybody?
No, I do try to tailor it to like the person, whether it's like the 5-minute journal, whether it's I do a lot of like motivational, like Christian books to some people, quite a bit. And then obviously there's Atomic Habits is amazing. It's a go-to for me. So those are kind of the ones that I go to.
Atomic Habits. So are you gifting these to other business owners or like just clients?
Sometimes, it just really depends on like their field, like whatever the kid, even I do it to like my clients' kids as well, just to, let them know that I see them too. It's not just my clients.
You mentioned Christian books. How big is faith in this whole journey for you for IVF and running the business?
Sure. I would not be where I am right now if I didn't have my faith. That's everything. That's the center of our home. That's the center for my marriage. That is the center for continuing to try with our babies to have our sweet little miracles.
Yeah. So I didn't plan on asking this question. It's just I'm curious because in our small group the other day, the conversation came up about how triggering political climate is of our world, and the ability to share your faith without stuffing it down someone's throat. And we all have different belief structures, and it feels like because of the media, where you just never know if the person is going to receive well what you have to say about, quote unquote, your truth or whatever it is. You're dealing with clients on a regular basis, and I'm guessing a vast number of them don't share your faith. How are you able to coexist during those deals where, again, it's a pretty triggering climate right now?
Sure. So thankfully it is a laid back community, I feel like. And sure, some people might feel a different way, but it's kind of funny. Like this happened this last weekend when I was showing some clients around. I put a Spotify playlist on, and it kept going back to like Forrest Frank or Brandon Lake and all of these songs. And so I was like, hey, you guys, I was like, that's just my algorithm in Spotify. And I was like, my girls love these certain songs. We always put it on for them to and from school. And I was like, so if you do not want to hear the glory of God right now, you just let me know and I'll just turn the radio on instead. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It'll just keep going. And they're like, we're good. That's good. So I don't know. I always have a necklace on that has a cross on it. I'm very open about my faith. My kids go to a church for preschool. So people just know that about me.
It's very cool. Yeah, Forrest Frank is taking over the world right now. That dude.
Honestly, when you were telling the story about your sweet neighbor, I thought about him, just the song, making lemons out of lemonade, as well as when he hurt his back. And then now he's writing songs with all these other Christian artists that are getting hurt, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Our kids were listening. Literally, we were in the car listening to that song on the way. You had 2 little angels, you say. What are their ages now?
They're 2 and 4.
So 2 and 4. I've had 2 and 4. I actually have a 1-year-old right now. How do you continue to grow? You mentioned your biggest month ever. What used to be, you doubled it. It went to 200 GCI, which is insane as a single agent. How do you do that with the 2 and a 4-year-old?
one, Amber, she's magic. And then two, I have the most incredible husband who is like the all he ever wanted to do was be a dad. He also runs a full-time business, but he works from home. We do have a nanny, so I have a ton of help. We have an incredible family who it's like a village that is raising our kids. But my husband is amazing. And we met while I was building my business. So he knows how I drive and how I work. And he is incredibly supportive and lets me do my thing.
All right, I want you to think back to when you were first making the decisions for scaling and the people that you put in your life, a nanny, an assistant, like these are, we talked about this earlier, but I'm really curious as to if you can get in the weeds with me on how to make these decisions. Because if I'm trying to make the decision to scale my business or get some help, but I don't think I can afford it because I can barely afford my bills right now, like what is the actual plan and process you go through to say, you know what? I can't really afford this thing yet. So do you start putting money aside for it, or do you get it before you can afford it, realizing it frees you up? Like, what's your process there?
Well, I did start with a transaction coordinator before I jumped to an assistant, which I felt like really helped me see that I actually need more than just the transaction coordinator to help with behind the scenes so that I can show up more for my clients. And so once I was like, I did that for a year. And then I was like, oh, I need a lot more. And my business had already increased by just being able to delegate a few things and not be in the office doing paperwork. And then when we were going to start a family, I was like, okay, now is the time that I really need somebody and I need to train them before I go on maternity leave so that when I'm out, I can have other partners at my company help me out with certain things. But I would much rather have her who knows my clients and my business and how I like to run things, rock it. So,
how far in advance are you looking at your schedule for like right now? Like that was a pretty monumental thing, maternity leave. But like right now, we're filming this in August, September almost. And how far out in your schedule are you looking for life events and business decisions?
Probably. Well, I mean, I have vacations booked out in 2027. So
Wow.
I
So
know.
that's pretty important to you.
Yeah, family time is everything to me. So we book those things and then I drive until we get to those things.
When you say you drive, like you're driving to earn the right to go on them?
Yeah, I just I will push myself and I will set goals and then I write my affirmations and my gratitudes and the universe is very kind to me.
It's pretty special. So I want to end here. You were nominated for the Agent of the Year, which, you know, at the timing of this, we're going to announce the winners, the top 10 on stage, and then the winner September 29th and 30th at RP Elevate, which is our first national event. Congrats on your nomination.
Thank you. I'm very grateful.
So one of our speakers is Molly Bloom. And Molly is, her story is fascinating. It's incredible. She was an Olympic athlete. Because of injury, got out of that, eventually figured out how to start a poker game for celebrities and rose that to millions of dollars. Got shut down by the FBI, wrote about the tale. Her book becomes a national bestseller. And now she speaks. But in the journey after, she struggled with pregnancy and IVF and all the things, which is a pretty interesting overlap with you because she's actually from your neck of the woods.
She is.
Out there at Colorado.
Her dad was a CSU professor.
He was. When you were there?
Yeah.
Man, that's some crazy overlap. So tell me what you're excited about RP Elevate specifically.
Well, I would absolutely love to connect with Molly. I'm excited to meet you in person.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for Tom Ferry. Those kind of motivational and incredible humans just like feed my soul and help me continue to be better. And I just always want to keep growing in this business. I don't think we always have so much to learn from each other. And so I am so excited.
Yeah, I've always said that when you get a room full of people that are doing the same thing and on the same mission, only good things can happen. And every conference I've ever been to, if I go in with a good attitude, I get a ton out of it, regardless of what it is, to be honest. If I go in, kicking and screaming, I still get stuff out of it, which just tells me like I need to constantly be in these rooms with these people. So we're excited to celebrate, and I hope you get up on that stage.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Where can we find you on the socials?
It's Andrea Tuell Real Estate, AndreaTuell.com, and Tuell's Tuell.
Yes, we'll put that in the show notes. Thanks for being on the show, Andrea. If you want to influence who we have on the show or what we talk about, please email us at podcast@realproducersmag.com. And Andrea and I will both see you at RP Elevate in September. See you next time.